Thank you. Israel Azazel, Eya Onko Azazel, Aken. Israel Azazel, Eya Onko Azazel, Aken. Israel Azazel.
When an outsider first of all discovers that magicians are supposed to keep silent about their practice, especially if they're into conspiracy theories, their minds go to all kinds of literally had their lives endangered. So keeping silent was just a matter of staying alive. Next, there's a matter of keeping the information alive. As you know, Samuel MacGregor Mathers and the other founders of the Golden Dawn went through quite a lot of trouble to find the information that had been gleaned throughout the years, throughout the ages, and had managed to survive until the modern time thanks to a coded method of keeping the information. So people who didn't know what the code was, people who didn't know what the signs were supposed to represent, and so on and so forth, would not necessarily know that what they were looking at was a repository of ancient knowledge. Thanks to this encoded way of keeping information, this ancient knowledge, which dates back to the Sumerians, is still available to us today, despite the Inquisition and many other times in history when magical knowledge was suppressed. Most of this information is now out in the open, which is why I don't feel so bad revealing this stuff to you guys. I don't feel like it's so much revealing as much as pointing you in the right direction. But you can see that the second sign that the Golden Dawn taught was the sign of silence, also known as the sign of Harpocrates. Harpocrates was the Egyptian god of silence, which you can see represented here on the card of the Aeon from Crowley's Thoth Tarot deck, with his finger up to his mouth, in a sign that is supposed to represent childishness, but also an entreaty to silence. In the graphic novel Promethea, Alan Moore shows the Aeon card with Harpo marks, Harpocrates, Harpo marks. I believe Robert Anton Wilson also pointed out a similar relation between the silent Marx brother and the Egyptian trickster god of magic. It comes with a very lovely poem, a very interesting one, that gives us an idea why Harpocrates is considered to be the god of the new Aeon. Ideas mankind will need, one fears, sometime in the next 20 years. 'Tis then the card 20 comes in play, the Aeon, once called Judgment Day. Apocalypse, as world's end seen, need only revelation mean, our world of ideas, set alight by information fierce and bright. Man's knowledge doubles, it appears, just less than every couple of years. Man's last 2 years more breakthroughs see than all our previous history. It's said, by 2017, this doubling's each half-second seen. Here information's flashpoint looms, its blaze reveals as it consumes. Men judge themselves in this new light, one worldview's crashed, the next takes flight. One aeon's burned by this knowledge flash, new consciousness born from its ash. Says Crowley, when not telling jokes, this aeon Harpocrates evokes. World's end is ruled, then, by his rod, Harpocrates, the silent god. Now, there are other reasons why a secret society would want to keep its practices and knowledge secret. It's simply because, in order to experience the information as real, the initiate has to build up to it. If somebody is given the outcome, experience of an initiation, then that is just information. Information is not the same thing as experience. And if somebody already knows what to expect by the end of their initiation, then that initiation is meaningless. They'll get to the end, and instead of having the experience firsthand, they'll just be expecting what they already know to expect. And what they'll get is very much what somebody gets when they go to see the Eiffel Tower, for example, or the Mona Lisa. They already know what it is. They already know what to expect. And when they get there, they're not living in the moment. They're seeing, oh yes, this is what I've been told about. But if somebody had never seen the Eiffel Tower or ever seen the Mona Lisa, then having the immediate experience of that reality will have a very different effect. Well, nowadays the information is, as I was saying, out in the public, and secret societies aren't as abundant as they were at the turn of the 20th century. And while they do exist, most magicians nowadays really practice alone, and this can be seen by the proliferation of self-initiation books which exist out there. So why would a modern-day magician want to keep silence? There are a few reasons. First of all, and I think to me personally, maybe most significantly, is to do with the quantum effects of expectation. I made a video a little over a year ago called Quantum Magic, and if you haven't watched it, I do really suggest you go and check that out. I will leave a link in the description down below to make it easier for you to find. But the general idea is that the future is made of chaos, as is the past. The further you look into the future, the less certain it is. The further you look into the past, the less fixed it is. The only moment that is absolutely fixed is the very present moment. Magic, to me, is a little bit like looking into the future and picking the outcome that you specifically want, making it real in your mind, and giving that particular outcome a better chance of being the one that comes into reality than any other option. Now, we do that with many different methods. Each magician has got his or her own favorite methods, but the majority of magicians do use visualization, imagining a desired outcome. Now, the minute you tell somebody else about your desired outcome, or that you're doing anything in particular to make a desired outcome happen, then they start having expectations. They start thinking what can go right and what can go wrong. They start having their own idea of what your future is going to actually look like. And suddenly, the future that you had fashioned for yourself has to compete with someone else's idea of what your future is probably going to look like. So that's one reason. Another reason would come in if you're working with particular spirits. Now, some spirits really like recognition, and if you have a look on Facebook on some of the esoteric and occult groups, you'll see that they're awash with people saying, hey, I worked with such and such a spirit today, I just want to say thank you. And that's simply because that spirit is known to appreciate fame. And the person working will have promised that spirit to mention that name in public in exchange for that spirit's help. But other spirits don't really like notoriety. This seems to be the case mainly with aerial spirits like angels. This isn't common to all angels, of course, but a lot of them seem to like to keep a certain amount of privacy and a certain amount of agency over whom they work with. Another reason why you might want to keep silent is to avoid decorating your ego with spirituality. This is one of the big pitfalls in magic. A lot of high magic is done specifically to suppress the ego and to allow our higher selves to take over. I mean, there's no question that our lower selves does have to remind our higher self from time to time that it has to eat, but nevertheless, the general consensus is that our higher self is better equipped to know what is ultimately best for us. Now, when we start telling everyone else how wonderful we are as a magician and, hey, this is the practice that I'm currently doing, then we do run the risk of approval seeking. Most of the time it doesn't happen. We think that people are going to be amazed, but actually most of the time people are just freaked out. But I suppose it does happen a lot on esoteric Facebook groups. I'm sure if you have a look down in the comments a few months after this has been published, then you'll have plenty of comments with people virtue signaling. I believe Damien Eccles very recently made a video about precisely virtue signaling, which I'll also link in the description. And while we're on the topic of ego, let me also address another thing, and that is silence of the ego. One of the first things that all magicians are recommended to do before they do anything else is to establish a regular meditation practice. And one of the purposes of that meditation practice is to learn to control the mind. The mind needs to know how to be quiet when it's told to be quiet. Much of a magician's magical practice is interior. And if the magician's mind isn't under control and is chatting to itself while the magician is trying to conjure up a particular impression, maybe trying to focus on a particular kind of power, or maybe even battling a demon who might be trying to lead the magician's mind in a particular direction that is unhelpful. So in these cases, keeping silence is an absolutely necessary practice, and it should be practiced every day. And it's not necessarily silence from speaking to others, but rather a silence of the mind from speaking to itself. There's one last aspect of silence that I'd like to bring up. I've probably missed a few, and please, by all means, write down in the comments what you're currently thinking that I've missed out. But there is the fact that when you tell somebody about your project, about a goal that you might have of achieving something, the same endorphins are released in your brain as those that are released if you actually do achieve it. Now, endorphins are something that are very easy to get addicted to, and it's certainly easier to talk about a project than it is to achieve a project. And if you're getting the same endorphin reward either way, it's very easy to fall into the habit of only talking about it to get that endorphin fix. And the result is that your project never gets realized. I read some very good advice today saying that if anybody asks you what you're working on, you can say, just wait and see. What then goes on in that person's mind is not so much, I've got a good idea of what your future is going to look like, and more a question of, well, I can't wait to find out what happens. So there you go. Now you see that keeping silence doesn't have to be something sinister or in any way about keeping power over other people, but rather simply a natural mechanism of magic. So there we are. I hope the video was useful for you guys. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe down below. I'd like to take a moment to thank all the members who have so kindly signed up to support the channel directly, and in particular those who have decided to... If you've seen my second video in this series of Esoteric Saturday Talks, you'll know that something very strange happened to me 19 years ago. A prayer was answered in a very freakishly precise way, and I've been trying to work out exactly what happened on that fateful day ever since. This is one of the things that I've learnt about since that day, and although I don't think it was intended to answer this particular question, I think it can shed some light. So it's called the double slit experiment. Some of you may know it already. Some of you may just not know how it can be applied to answered prayers. Bear with me. I'll first of all explain how it works, and then I'll talk about how it may be related. If you already know how it works, check down below. I'll put some time signatures for when you can skip to if you already know how the double slit experiment works. So, very briefly, the double slit experiment works with a piece of cardboard with two slits in it, quite simply, okay? And it's put under two different conditions. First of all, against a wall, we put the cardboard with the two slits. So this is a section view from the top.
What's up, Capital Ad? How's it going? Yellow. He's just as he should be. Capital ad, man. How's it going? How's it going, jabroni? Did you get any pussy today, jabroni? Jabroni, did you get some pussy? What's happening, man? It's your boy Young Camel Toe. We live on YouTube. Like and subscribe for your boy. And Camel Toe's the greatest. Oh, the greatest. And I got some carrot cake. Yeah, I be the greatest and I got some carrot cake. All these little hoes trying to take me on a date. Young Camel Toe out here making it never fake. Hey. We got some carrot cake. We got carrot cake and we got Young Camel Toe, man.
fishes, Morpheus, orifices, walruses, porridges, Tyrosaurus, lords, sword forces, dwarf choruses, red pill, blue pill, purple pill, borages, Doris and Explorer in the forest and orifices, porridges, Orpheus, Morpheus, Orpheus, corpses, Corpheus, Worcester sauce, orifice, fist, Moridan, Dorian, Lorian, Bendelorian, Morpheus, walruses, shelled by the sea, Orpheus, Sky Morpheus, red pill, blue pill, orifices. Pentagon missiles, slipping bombs, I rock individuals, life drifting all the time, lost pencils, life slid behind black pistols, Mac 11 in your black temple, mind cash is the principal, selling racket guns to the criminals, get the minerals, malnutrition type generals, constitution minimal, right to bear arms mythical, Bush coke residual, gone presidential, Donald Trump, Obama is the rental of the choreograph, hieroglyphics of the instrumental, tone essential, temporal in the federal, astral, plane cash, make the decorate dash flash like the rhetoric trash media. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. 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 My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. So loaded B times 333. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. 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 My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. So loaded B times 333.
Love you, I will surround you, live for my love to the end of the world. I will love you so early, sending love, joys, and peace. He will not make a shot. Thank you. I will support you in all of your dreams until you're satisfied. Man, I will manifest magical happenings. I am the God of the world. Thank you. I will support you in all endeavors. Go be yourself. Love you. And Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo. Welcome to meritocracy, Dad. Alright, fair enough. Yellow. Namo. Om Namo Gurudev 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 Namo.
With the two slits right there. Now, in the case of particles, what we have is, let's say, a paintball cannon. All right. Now, this paintball cannon is very imprecise. It's shooting all over the place, and mostly it's hitting the cardboard, and some of the paintballs are going to get lucky, and they're going to was that the pattern that was made was a wave pattern. So they thought to themselves, okay, clearly we're shooting too many electrons at the same time. We need to just shoot one at a time. So they significantly reduced the rate at which these electrons were being shot, so that they were sure that only one atom was being shot at any one given time. What they found was that the electrons being shot one at a time were still creating a wave pattern, which was very, very surprising to the people conducting the experiment. So what they did is that they set up a sensor, let's represent that like an eye, a sensor that would observe which of the slits an individual electron was going through. And at that point, the pattern that was created was no longer the wave pattern, but started to become the particle pattern.
Is your chair on top of the lid to the trapdoor?
When the electrons were being observed,
enlightened.
they were behaving like particles, and when they weren't being observed,
yes, I solved the answer to the universe.
Very, very strange situation. So the people involved in the experiment, who are much cleverer than I am, worked out, in fact, that on the quantum scale, so much, much smaller even than the microscopic scale, things behave strangely. When they're not being observed, they can be in more than one place at the same exact time. In fact, they can exist and not exist at the same exact time. What they determined is that these electrons were going in, well, they were going in random places, and they were hitting the piece of cardboard. They were going through this slot. They were going through that slot. They were going through both slots. They were going through neither slot, all at the same time, because they existed in many places at once, which is crazy for anyone who believes in a realist point of view. For realism versus idealism, see video number 3 in this series, which is why I made that video before this one. But yes, so the conclusion was, if we're observing reality, then it is only at one place at a time. Okay, so when it's observed, the electron is only at one place at a time. But when you stop observing it, it's everywhere, nowhere, in...
My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. 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 My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. So loaded B times 333. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. 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 My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. So loaded B times 333. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. 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 My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. So loaded B times 333. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. 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 My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. My license is always clean. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. The DMV loves me. So loaded B times 333.
I am beautiful, yes I love me. Fantastic life, smoking and the weed. I am so grateful for everything in my life. Health, wealth, happiness. What's happening, man? It's your boy Young Camel Toe, man. We live on YouTube. Like and subscribe for your boy. Prosperity is all. Love in the sun. Love I unite. Love you. Thankful for my wealth. Thankful for my health. Thankful for my time. Thankful for me. I am love. 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 Skeet, skeet, weed. How you doing, skeet, skeet, weed? I am healthy. I am happy. I'm abundant. I am rich. I am God. I am love. I am source energy. The universe is me. I'm the galaxy, the stars, and the Milky Way. I am love. I am healthy. All my stocks are in the green. Money, money comes to me. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. I am love, I am hugs, I am kiss. I am love. I am healthy. I am happy. I'm abundant. I am rich. I am God. I am love. source energy. The universe is me. I'm the galaxy, the stars, and the Milky Way. I am love. I am healthy. All my stocks are in the green. Money, money comes to me. I am healthy, I am healthy, I am rich. I am love, I am hugs, I am kiss. This song is called Young Camel Toe the God, man. That's the name of the song. I am love. I am healthy. I am happy. I'm abundant. I am rich. I am God. I am God. I am source energy. The universe is me. I'm the galaxy, the stars, and the Milky Way. I am love. I am healthy. All my stocks are in the green. Money, money comes to me. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. I am love, I am hugs, I am kiss. All my stocks are in the green. I am love. I am healthy. I am happy. I'm abundant. I am rich. I am God. I am love. I am source energy. The universe is me. I'm the galaxy, the stars, and the Milky Way. I am God. What's happening, man? It's your boy Young Camel Toe, man. We live on YouTube. Like and subscribe for your boy. All my stocks are in the green. Money, money comes to me.
It's the sky.
I am healthy, I am healthy, I am. It's called God Young Camel Toe. God Young Camel Toe. No, Young Camel Toe the God. That's what it's called. Young Camel Toe the God. Young Camel Toe the God. Young Camel Toe the God. I am source energy. The universe is me. I see the
I want to
stars.
talk about talismans today, and very specifically about magic squares, magic square talismans. This is the Key of Solomon. It's the Clavis, or Key to the Magic of Solomon. This is the Joseph Peterson edition. It's a beautiful facsimile. I've got a full review on my channel, which you can check out. But I was particularly interested today in magic squares. What's the point in a magic square? Well, first of all, a magic square is a mathematical game, you could actually say. It's a square with, so obviously a square will have the same number of elements lengthwise and height-wise, and each row and each column adds up to the same number. So this is the Jupiter square because it's got four numbers horizontally and right, in that sense, and it is of Jupiter because the number of elements in each row is 4. Now, these magic squares have not always been associated specifically with planets. As early as 2nd century BCE, we already find these in India. We find them in China around, I think it's 6th century CE. And then around the 16th century, very early 16th century, we start seeing them in Europe. And here's that very, very famous picture of Albrecht Dürer's called Melancholia 2. And in the top right-hand corner, we see that Jupiter square. Now, it's not exactly the same one as the one that's shown in the Clavis. The bottom line is actually at the top, and the top line's at the bottom. The two middle lines are swapped as well, so it's kind of mirrored. And also, the 15 and 14 and the 3 and the 2 are swapped as well. So if I bring you back over here, you'll be able to see that instead of 3 and 2, we have 2 and 3 here. But it doesn't matter. It still works. It's still a perfect square that is 4 by 4 and therefore a Jupiterian square. But it's Agrippa who actually goes into the details of
Money, money comes to me. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. I am love, I am hugs, I am kiss. I am love. I am healthy. I am happy. I'm abundant. I am rich. I am God. I am God. I am source energy. The universe is me. I'm the galaxy, the stars, and the Milky Way. I am love. I am healthy. All my stars are in the green. Money, money comes to me. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. I am love, I am hugs, I am kiss. I am love. I am healthy. I am happy. I'm abundant. I am rich. I am God. I am love. I am source energy. The universe is me. I'm the galaxy, the stars, and the Milky Way. I am love. I am healthy. All my stocks are in the green. Money, money comes to me. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. I am love, I am hugs, I am kiss. I am love. I am healthy. I am happy. Oh my God. I'm abundant. I am rich. I am God. I am love. I am source energy. The universe is me.
Oh my God. I got stuck.
I'm the galaxy, the stars, and the Milky Way. I am love. I am healthy. All my stocks are in the green. Money, money comes to me. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. I am love, I am hugs, I am kiss. I am love. I am healthy. I am happy. I'm abundant. I am rich. I am God. I am love. I am source energy. The universe is me. I'm the galaxy, the stars, and the Milky Way. I am love. I am healthy. All my stocks are in the green. money comes to me. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. I am love, Young Camel Tour, I love it, man. I am kid. Young Camel Tour, I love it, man. I love it too, man. I am love. All my stocks are in the green. Disney Boeing. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. I am wealthy now. I am healthy now. I'm a finance genius. I earn, save, spend, invest money wisely. All my stocks are in the green. My money makes more money, more money. All of my investments make profit. Is in the room.
How these squares are built and what you can do with these talismans in quite a lot of detail. This is the second book of occult philosophy of Agrippa. This is the beautiful black letterpress edition, which was released just a couple of weeks ago. Really, really beautiful edition. And yeah, if you have a look at this chapter 22, it's all about what you can actually do with the various squares of the various planets. And then there's a description of how to build on these magic squares. And yeah, the description is sparse, but you can infer how all of these sigils were eventually built. And I just wanted to talk about a video by Aloysia Sinclair, which is extraordinary, and I'll link it down below. It's very, very clear, and she talks about how these various sigils are built up. So, for example, the seal of Saturn. Let's have a look on here, which is a little bit larger here. The seal of Saturn is simply made up like this, going 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, and that is the seal of Saturn.
All of my emotions, every dollar is in the green. I have more money than I need. I have more money than I need. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. My wrist is 3 to 1. My wrist is 3 to 1. I have large amounts of wealth that I give away. I have large amounts of wealth that I give away. I create all the wealth that I need. My manifestation's what I need. I seize my opportunities courageously, applying faith to all my actions. Imagination. All my stocks are in the green. Jack in the green stocks. Penny stocks going to the moon. Voxel, IDEX, JE, blue, green for me. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. I made $2,000 this week. $2,222 in the green. Jack in the green stars, baby. Wall Street is my bitch. All my stocks are in the green. Jack in the green stocks. Penny stocks going to the moon. Box silk, IDEX, JE, blue, nerd, green for me. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. I made $2,000 this week. $2,222 in the green. Jack in the green stocks, baby. Wall Street is my bitch. All my stocks are in the green. Jack in the green stocks. Penny stocks going to the moon. Box silk, IDEX, JE, blue, nerd, green for me. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. I made $2,000 this week. $2,222 in the green. Jack in the green stars, baby. Wall Street is my bitch. All my stocks are in the green. Jack in the green stocks. Penny stocks going to the moon. Box silk, IDEX, JE, blue, nerd, green for me. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. I made $2,000 this week. $2,222 in the green. Jack in the green stars, baby. Wall Street is my bitch. All my stocks are in the green. Jack in the green stocks. Penny stocks going to the moon. moon. Blackville, IDXJE, Lunar. Oh my gosh. What the fuck? All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. I made $2,000 oh my God. Why you shoot that? $2,222 in the green. Oh my gosh. I can't pass it to you no more, dog. I'm sorry. I go back to my career, bro. This is ridiculous. Street is my bitch. All my stocks are in the green. Oh my gosh. Jack in the green stars. Many stars going to the moon. Maxwell, IDXJE. Don't do it, my nigga. What the fuck? Green for me. That's a bad shot. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. I made $2,000 this week. $2,222 in the green. Jack in the green stars, baby. Nigga, fire speed. Who made these nigga, bro? Now I'm mad and shit. Fuck. This nigga shooting with a stretch big 4'11". All my stars are in the green. Jack in the green stars. Penny stars going to the moon. This nigga cannot shoot, bro. This nigga make stretch bigs and can't shoot. It don't make no sense, cuz. Nigga made a stretch and went 4 from 11 from the mid-range. What the fuck? Thank you, G, for the high. All my call options are in the green. All my call options are in the green. All my call options are in the green. I made $2,000 trash, but $2,222 in the green. Jack in the green stars, baby. Wall Street is my bitch. All my stocks are in the green. Jack in the green stars. Many stars going to the moon. Maxwell, IDXJE, blue, green for me. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. I made $2,000 this week. $1,222 in the green.
Right there. And then over here, the intelligence of Saturn, which is Agiel, right? Agiel spelt with the Hebrew alphabet would be Aleph, Gimel, Yod, Aleph, Lamed. Now the Aleph, you attribute a number to each of these letters, right? From Aleph to Tau. And because there are only 9 numbers to go around in a Saturn square, then you start going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you start at 1 again, etc., all right, and so on. So you have a look. The A, or the Aleph, is number 1, so you start at 1. Then the Gimel down here is number 3, so you go from 1 to 3. Then we've got the Yod, right? The Yod is back to 1, so it's up and down, right? And then the Aleph is 1 again, but we're already at 1, right? So you just do a bump, right? So like a little number 3, right? So just a little bump. And then that Lamed is number 3 again. So we're back up to number 3. So we get something looking like this. I beg your pardon, wrong direction. Starting at 1, up to 3, down to 1, little bump, and then back up here. Put little circles at the top and at the bottom to say this is the beginning, this is the end, and you have the sigil of Agiel, which is, here we go, the sigil that we have down here, the intelligence of Saturn, also happens to be at the logo of Black Letter Press. Then we have the same thing for Jupiter, except that the numbers here go all the way up to 16. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, but instead of going back to 1 here, you continue 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then you start back at 1 here, 1, 2, 3. So whatever you want to draw, whatever word you want to draw, whatever divine name you want to draw, etc., on this square, you would use this different scale, right? And then you would just draw around it, and then you would have your sigil. Now, what's the idea? Well, why would you have a planetary square? If you've ever listened to the music of Gustav Holst, you'll probably be familiar with the planets, right? He made a whole suite of compositions called the planets, going from Mercury to Saturn. And with each one of these tunes, he's given the listener an impression of the energies of that planet. So you could say that that music is infused with the essence of whatever planet is playing, right? Well, these squares are really the mathematical equivalent of that. So if you can understand how music can have the qualities of a planet, then you can understand how a mathematical... you'll probably be familiar with the planets, right? He made a whole suite of compositions called the planets, going from Mercury, divine name you want to draw, etc., On this square, you would use this different scale, right? And then you would just draw around it, and then you would have your sigil. Now, what's the idea? Well, why would you have a planetary square? If you've ever listened to the music of Gustav Holst, you'll probably be familiar with the planets, right? He made a whole suite of compositions called the planets, going from Mercury to Saturn. And with each one of these tunes, he's given the listener an impression of the energies of that planet. So you could say that that music is infused with the essence of whatever planet is playing, right? Well, these these squares are really the mathematical equivalent of that. So if you can understand how music can have the qualities of a planet, then you can understand how a mathematical representation can also have the qualities of a planet. And therefore anything drawn onto the layout of that particular planet's magical square will have a slightly more appropriate energy to it. Then, of course, you can draw it at a particular time of the day, on a particular day, and at a particular time of the year to give it even more of that planet's qualities. And suddenly you have an object which is imbued with all of the energies and qualities of that planet, of that Kabbalistic sphere. So those are the general points today. I know that a film has recently come out called Tenet, and I was looking at magical squares with letters, right? So Tenet, of course, is the central word from this very well-known magical square, which was dug up in Pompeii, if I remember correctly. Here's actually a picture of the original one. So we have Sator, Arepo, Tenet, Opera, Rotas. But then if you read it in the other direction, it goes also Sator, Arepo, Tenet, Opera, Rotas. You can also read it down, Sator, Arepo, Tenet, Opera, Rotas, and also up in the other direction. The fact that it's symmetrical and, well, works like a palindrome makes it special. And this particular magical square was picked by Samuel MacGregor Mathers to represent the cover of his version of the Book of Sacred Magic of Abramelin the Mage. It's kind of interesting because this particular square doesn't appear in the more modern edition by Georg Den, which is based on a much more complete edition of the Book of Abramelin than this one was. This one was based on a rather flawed, incomplete French translation. But the first line being Sator, I suppose, confers to it some Saturnian properties and therefore appropriate for a ritual to acquire knowledge and conversation of the Holy Guardian Angel. So there we go. Those are a few thoughts on magical squares and using them for talismans. So that's it for me for today. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and to subscribe down below if you haven't already. There are also memberships available. If you click the join button, you'll be able to see more details about that. Speaking of memberships, I'd like to especially thank all of my Magister Venerabilis Level 3 members, whose very generous help is incredibly appreciated. Those members are Jason, Z. Daniel Barnett.
Get you a pair, man. These is called Young Camel Toe shorts, man. DM me if you want to buy some, man. I hand make them. These are handmade shorts made by Young Camel Toe. Oh my gosh,
When these thoughts are who would I